For centuries, women have been making vast contributions to the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, otherwise known as STEM. Despite this, the scarcity of women in STEM fields remains to be a problem. We wanted to get some insight on what it's like to be a female studying STEM.
I'm Zoe Anderson. I'm a junior undergrad at UConn right now. I'm double majoring in physiology and neurobiology and psychological sciences with a minor in neuroscience. I currently work in Dr. Salomon's behavioral neuroscience lab in the psychology department, which is a psychopharmacology research lab. So we study different drugs, especially dopaminergic drugs that affect a lot of different disorders, specifically focusing on amotivation symptoms.
In 2015, women made up about 58% of all professional workers. This may sound like a lot, yet females only covered about 15% of engineering and architecture and just 24% of computer and math positions.
So I guess kind of what drew me to P&B as a major, I've always kind of been science has been my thing since I was like little. Always grew up learning about science, doing science things, just kind of always involved in it. And then I got to high school and I took an AP Psych course my junior year, and then I ended up being the teacher's assistant for that AP Psych course my senior year, and just kind of like got obsessed with the brain. And I think all of human biology and biology in general is really just fascinating, but brains and humans and other non-human species are just like, they drive everything you do. The other organs and stuff that you have, or like the rhythms of even your heartbeat, are driven by regions of your brain, which is kind of like all-encompassing, controls everything. And I just think it's absolutely fascinating and smarter than any computer that even exists. So I just kind of wanted to like learn everything there is about it. And so that's kind of how I fell into the neurobiology part of this field.
Today, many people are working to change this narrative, with a rising number of women becoming involved in STEM fields in college and earlier.
What it means to me to be a woman in STEM, I've luckily kind of like in my major, specifically at UConn, there are a lot of females, and even in my lab, it's predominantly female undergraduates working in the lab, and 2 of the 3 graduate students we work with are females as well, so I think there's definitely increasing representation. I think kind of for me, like starting like in high school and stuff, when I really solidified like STEM as where I wanted to be, it was me and like a small cluster of other girls who were taking all these like AP honors math and science courses, versus there was all these guys that were like constantly there and constantly got the praise for being the smartest people in the class, whereas myself and some of the other girls in my class would still be getting the same grades, taking the same classes, doing all the same work, but we just never got identified as like they're guaranteed gonna be the valedictorian. And then it kind of turned around nicely where the girl did prove herself and become the valedictorian, even though everyone else had this list of like guys that were gonna do it because they were the ones in all those high level classes. So kind of transitioning into college, I was like, all right, I want more women around me who are in STEM. So my freshman year, I lived in the Women in Science, Math, and Engineering, yeah, that's what we were called, learning community. And that was kind of like really empowering to be constantly surrounded by a bunch of other women who were all in the same field, kind of like all came from similar experiences in high school, and it was kind of like reassuring to be like, okay, we all kind of like came from the same like small few girls who actually were trying to get into STEM, and then actually now here we are.
Another issue within STEM is a serious lack of diversity. We now know that women are already widely underrepresented, but when it comes to Black and Latina women, the numbers are even more severe. 86% of women in the field are either white or Asian, while only 2.7% are Black and 3.6% are Latina.
I definitely think there's still underrepresentation, that it's still the up-and-coming field for women, just evident by my professors alone. I've had a bunch of fantastic professors. They've all been incredibly intelligent and done fantastic research in their fields, but they've all been older white men. There's not really much diversity at all in all that, especially with women, and I think that's just something that definitely I hope to see more of as like future generations of girls are entering STEM fields and studying them, that they're going to be taught by people who have similar experiences to them, or just like represent more of a diverse background, that it's not just like one type of person who does science or technology or math or engineering or any of that.
After speaking to Zoe and several other females studying STEM, we found they all shared a similar sentiment in terms of the future. Although it may be a difficult path to follow, always try to succeed with as much passion and drive as possible. There may be some lingering internalized bias, but do not ever let this impede your self-worth or work. What you have to bring to the table is just as important and magnificent as anyone else. This is how we change the future of women in STEM.